Hello, fellow citizens, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Elfie, just a girly pop trying to figure out this Star Citizen thing. And today, I'm going to show you what an orbital mining operation looks like for my org, Gargantua Space Industries. We're a small logistics and engineering org and always looking to welcome new members. So if you're interested after watching this video, be sure to check us out in the description down below. And with that, let's get into it. We started off our day in Checkmate, and once everyone was geared up ready to go, we headed on board. The Idris was already loaded up with golems, fighters, and ore pods, and there was also a mole that was going to be flying separately with us. Not everyone was familiar with the Idris, and so we all had to find our way to the medical bay, and those of us who would be out in space would sign into the Tier 1 bed, and those who would be on the capital ship would sign into the Tier 3 beds. It was really nice once everyone made their way to the medical bay to see how our little org is growing. A lot of people showed up for this event, which made it even more fun. After everyone was done figuring out which beds to sign into, we headed over to the briefing room to get our assignments and figure out what we were doing for the day. Now, I think that briefings are pretty cool, so I'm going to leave most of this in, but if you want to get to the action, just skip to the next chapter.
For all the new people here, it's good to have you. This is kind of a lot of new people, so a lot of today is just going to be practice and training, working on how you can be part of a larger group without comms interrupting, and how to ask for help if you need it, and how to support each other in these kind of larger scale operations. So today we're going to be practicing and conducting space mining in Pyro. Our first objective site is PYR3L5. The Rita site takes the priority because it's worth almost 3 times as much as the Terranite. However, both are what we're aiming for. One of the tricks to mining is we have to maximize the value of the things that we actually go and collect. Now, how that's going to work is, so for carrier-based operations, we're going to bring the Idris out there, and then we're going to do a series of maneuvers that's going to place us in a position where we can support if we need to, but it'll also mask our signature. So we're going to be probably about 150 to 200 kilometers from the primary mining site. Once we get to our position, we're going to deploy the CAP. They will go ahead and check the zone as all of our mining vehicles prepare and board. Once CAP has guaranteed or at least done a rudimentary survey that there's no other forces there, we'll go ahead and jump in with the golems and the mole. Now, the purpose of the golems is to scout. They're to scout the different minerals and look for large deposits of high priority minerals. If you find a high priority one, you're going to communicate that, and then the mole will go and help break that up and collect it. So in general, we're collecting stable materials, and then if there is a large thing of opportunity, that will be on Hauser's discretion to allocate how they're going to do that. Now, if we have some sort of incident or another force jumps in for whatever reason, you see the next slide, we have a secondary site, and that is RMB even, and that primary resource will be going for that site is Terranite. Since we're not here to hold ground, if like a cap ship or something jumps in that we view as a threat, we can just collect at the rally point and then jump out of there. Not on the external ships, you're going to go into operations, so that's going to be Idris or support vessels in formation with the Idris. The fighters are going to go into Cap. Hauser's going to be in the mole with his guys, and then in golems. We need someone that knows how to work SRS in each group. Hauser, can you go ahead and crew out the different positions for the mole and the golems? Is there anyone that would like to go with the Cap that has SRS?
Yes, sir.
You want to do Cap, Elfie?
Yeah.
You're going to go with the Cap, find a buddy. Anyone have any questions?
What's the CAP?
CAP is Combat Air Patrol.
Yeah, that's the fighters. Is that what you want to do, or did you misunderstand?
Yes, that is what I want to do. But that's not necessarily what I meant to do. I thought that I was going to be in charge of the capital ship, not the Combat Air Patrol. But on the bright side, I just had some dogfighting lessons, and how many people are we really gonna run into? I headed over to the pilot ready room, but I was the only one who volunteered for Cap, so I guess it's just me, myself, and I to protect all of the miners in the group. And once I got the instruction, I headed into the hangar and into the Gladius that I would be flying for the day. I've never actually flown one before, but it was a pretty cool ship, and next to me were the 3 golems that I was going to be protecting. Once I got the all clear from the captain, the doors opened, and I was the first to go out and patrol the area and scan for any enemies or anything that we should be concerned about. As I started to fly closer to my friends in the mole, I started scanning and I could see all of the little asteroids in the belt, but I wasn't finding anything for concern, especially any enemies. Navigating the ship in the asteroid belt was a little bit more challenging. I kept switching between third-person and first-person camera to make sure that I wouldn't fly into any rocks or clip a wing. The last thing I needed was to have to call in that the combat air patrol needed rescue. However, it was kind of difficult trying to keep my orientation in which areas I've already scanned and which ones I haven't. I tried to use the Idris as a good point of reference because it was the only thing that I knew was still, but it was still pretty tricky. I scanned for what felt like hours, but in reality, it was probably like 10 minutes. The golems were also there scanning, but they weren't having much luck either. I did eventually come across an asteroid, but I was unable to scan it with the Gladius, and I'm not sure if this is a feature or a bug. Even if it said scanned, it still said unknown, so there was no way for me to tell if it was the resource that we were looking for or not. In the end, it didn't really matter, because one of the golems traveled all the way to go scan it, and it was a bunch of shit anyway.
Well, this is Golem 3. I have another asteroid. Looks to be about 20 SEUs of Tarnite. 10 Tarnite. Are you guys mineable?
Yeah, we're still operational. We just lost the modules, so we'll be able to come do that. Making our way to you.
Cap for Mole, do you still need those modules that are in my backpack?
You have them in your backpack. We were wondering where they were. Yeah, that would be great. If you can rally at Bearpack, we can mount them before we start working on this next one.
Copy that. Cap for Mole, I'm right next to you on standby.
Roger. We'll come out here in just a second. Thanks.
Now, what they didn't know while I was sitting in my ship was that I was sitting here contemplating this entire time, knowing I had the modules in my backpack, because I wasn't sure if I had a helmet on or not. The windows of the Gladius were a little bit too tinted for me to actually tell, so we were just gonna raw dog it and fly on over to them and see what would happen. It was at this point I realized I was fucked. It definitely was not on me. So I put it on, but then I panicked and accidentally took it off again, and so I was definitely suffocating in the middle of space. Everything turned out okay in the end, and I was still alive with 16 health and a dream to get into the mole as quickly as possible. My good pal Hauser fixed me up. I gave them the Focus 3 modules that they needed. And I was off on my next adventure to go continue patrolling and protecting the people of Gargantua Space Industries. We were soon recalled to go back to the Idris so that we could go to the secondary location because we weren't finding much in terms of the resources that we were looking for. However, when I returned to the Idris, I couldn't really get in. I don't know whose genius idea this was, but I'm pretty sure I have to call OSHA. Once they finally got out of there, I was finally able to park as well as the golems and we could head off to the second location. Here, I was striking out, but all of the golems were finding a lot more of the minerals that we were looking for, so that was a good sign. Everything was going pretty well until we started to scan other ships that were not ours. And the timing was impeccable because we were almost ready to get going, but I was kind of into the idea of going to take on a fight.
What are they?
I think one looks like a 600i.
Oh yeah, that's how your weight class there, Alfie.
The other one's some kind of Freelancer gunship.
How can you tell what they are?
I could show him a train with nothing to it and he could tell me what it is. It's the same thing with the ships, right?
Maybe one day I'll be able to call out ships like that too, but not today. Today, Cannon did decide that he was going to start going towards them, so I followed, and then another one of our crew members, Zottel, also followed. It wasn't long before I found myself wing deep in an actual dogfight in the Persistent universe. I was finally able to put my dog training to action, and I was pretty proud of myself. There were a couple of things that I kept to mind, which was basically to dodge roll anytime someone was shooting at me, try to avoid all of the asteroids and rocks around me so I didn't explode, and to try to not fly so fast and turn such that I blacked out. Everything was fine at this point, it was just a little bump.
All stations almost nearly complete here. Are there any other rocks that we can hit up? Over.
Well, Union, we're checking right now.
Copy.
Cap for Golem over there. Do they have any other rocks for Golem?
We did it. We basically just had one more ship to get fully down and we were good to go. While finishing off the last guy, we ended up receiving a call that we actually had another enemy ship in the area and it was most likely an actual player.
All Union, what's your status as far as cargo?
We're approximately half full, but we just had a hostile cutter pop up in vicinity of Golem 2.
I got contact on me. There's a guy trying to dogfight me.
Cap, Union, go ahead and rush over there.
On the way.
We rushed on over to help, and this guy definitely didn't know what he got himself into. Overall, it was a pretty good day in the verse. I was pretty tired from the day of protecting the org, and I decided to have a seat and just relax in the cafeteria for a little while once we got back to the Idris. We had a good long debrief afterwards in the hangar, and it was really nice to hear everyone's opinions about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the day, and how we can improve to make operations like this even better. And if you like videos like this, where you can see the verse from a new player's perspective, be sure to like and subscribe to support the channel. I post new videos twice a week, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, Elfie out.